Ladies and gentlemen, achievement is not an accident. It's not luck. It's not magic, and it's not reserved for the chosen few. Achievement is a map, clear, structured, and available to every single one of us. Jim Rohn said, "If you want something to change, you have to change." And that's where the map begins, with you. Before you journey anywhere, you need a destination. People wander through life with vague wishes. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to be wealthy. But a map cannot guide a blurry dream. Achievement demands clarity. The moment you decide what you want with absolute precision, you activate something powerful inside yourself. Your mind starts looking for paths, opportunities, and strategies. Suddenly, life doesn't feel like chaos. It feels like direction, but even the best map is useless if you don't move your feet. That's where discipline enters the picture. Discipline is your engine, your momentum, your fuel. Not the explosive, short-lived fire of motivation, but steady, controlled action. Jim Rohn used to say, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." Those small, consistent choices, waking up earlier, studying your craft, saving instead of spending, reading instead of scrolling, create a future that looks like magic to everyone else. Along this map, you will meet challenges, delays, doubts, days when nothing seems to work. But remember, obstacles aren't here to stop you. They're here to shape you. Every setback is carving strength, patience, resilience. And these qualities don't just help you reach your goals, they prepare you to keep what you achieve. Jim Rohn taught us that you must grow into the person capable of holding the success you seek. That's why personal development is not optional. It is the highway of achievement. And as you follow this map, clear goals, daily discipline, constant growth, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Success stops feeling distant, it becomes natural. You stop chasing achievement and instead begin attracting it, because achievement always responds to the person you become. This is the map, know where you're going. Work on yourself daily, stay disciplined on the path, and watch achievement rise to meet you. Achievement begins with clarity, and clarity is one of the most underestimated forces in a person's life. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they are not precise about what they truly want. Their goals are vague, blurry, or half-formed, and when the destination is unclear, the path remains hidden. Imagine holding a map with no marked points, no clear routes, no destination. It's impossible to travel it with confidence, and it's the same in life. The moment you decide exactly where you're going, something remarkable begins to unfold. Your mind, which was scattered and distracted, suddenly sharpens. It begins to arrange thoughts, ideas, and possibilities in a way that supports your direction. It's almost as if life starts whispering hints you never heard before, guiding you toward opportunities you didn't know were within reach. Clarity transforms the invisible into the achievable. When a person says, "I want to be successful," that desire floats in the air like smoke. There is nothing solid to hold on to. But when someone says, "I want to build a business that earns this much," or "I want to become a pilot," or "I want to master communication," the dream becomes something real. It gains shape, and once it has shape, it begins to pull you toward it with a quiet but powerful magnetism. You wake up differently. You speak differently. You use your time differently, because now you're not wandering. You're traveling. Clarity is also honest. It forces you to confront what matters and what doesn't. When you gain clarity, you stop chasing everything and start choosing deliberately. You begin to understand what deserves your attention and what simply distracts you. Without clarity, the world can pull you in 1,000 directions. One day you want this, the next day you want that. You're excited for a moment and then confused the next. But when you truly decide what you want, confusion dissolves. Decisions become easier because they all fall under one question: does this move me closer to my goal or not? Jim Rohn used to say that purpose is the starting point of everything. A clear purpose wakes the mind up. It energizes the body. It inspires action. And the moment you declare your purpose with certainty, you begin to feel a shift within you. You no longer wait for motivation. You create it. You no longer hope for better days. You design them. Clarity gives you power because it gives you direction, and direction gives you confidence. People often underestimate how powerful a clear why can be. When the goal is clear, obstacles look smaller, doubts lose their strength, challenges feel like steps instead of walls, because when you know exactly where you're going, every difficulty becomes part of the journey, not a reason to quit. Clarity keeps you steady. It keeps you rooted. It keeps you moving forward even when the path feels slow. It gives you the stamina to continue when others stop. It gives you the patience to persist when progress is quiet. It gives you the focus to grow while others get distracted. Clarity also changes how others respond to you. When you speak with certainty, when your goals are clear, when your intentions are firm, people begin to trust your vision. They begin to support your journey. Opportunities align with those who know what they want. It's not magic, it's alignment. People are naturally drawn to those who are decisive, committed, and serious about their direction. When you possess clarity, you communicate with strength. You walk with purpose. You inspire confidence without trying. And the world reflects that certainty right back at you in the form of chances, connections, and possibilities that were invisible before. Clarity is also a filter. It helps you remove unnecessary noise from your life. You begin to realize what habits drain you, what people discourage you, and what environments keep you stuck. You start replacing confusion with structure, replacing doubt with strategy, replacing fear with understanding. When you know where you're going, you begin to see clearly what does not belong in your journey. And removing the unnecessary is often just as important as adding the necessary. Clarity simplifies your life so your energy can rise. It frees your mental space so your creativity can grow. It sharpens your discipline so your actions can compound. And perhaps the most beautiful part of clarity is that it strengthens your identity. When your goals are clear, you don't just move toward a destination. You become someone new along the way. You develop patience, persistence, boldness, and confidence. You start aligning your habits, your thoughts, your emotions, and your daily routine with your chosen direction. You begin to live intentionally instead of accidentally. You stop drifting and start building. You stop reacting and start creating, and this transformation changes your entire perception of what is possible. Clarity is the spark that turns dreams into plans and plans into results. It is the moment you stop wishing and start deciding. It is the shift from hoping to committing. It is the foundation upon which every great achievement is built. And once you experience the power of clarity, you will never again settle for a life lived in confusion or uncertainty. Discipline is the force that transforms dreams into something real. It is the quiet, consistent, unwavering commitment to daily actions that move you closer to your goals. Most people rely on motivation, but motivation is temporary. It rises and falls like waves, sometimes strong, sometimes weak, sometimes gone. But discipline is the tide. It stays, it holds, it continues even when the waves disappear. Discipline does not ask how you feel in the moment. It reminds you of what you decided long before the moment arrived. It is the bridge between desire and achievement, between intention and result. When a person builds discipline, they build a system inside themselves. They no longer wait for the right mood, the right timing, or the right environment. They create their own momentum. Jim Rohn often said that success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day, not once a week, not when life feels smooth, but every single day. That daily commitment is where the transformation happens. Even the smallest action, when repeated consistently, gathers power. One choice compounds into another, and before you know it, the things that were once difficult become effortless, the tasks that felt heavy become natural, and the habits that once required strength become part of who you are. Discipline also trains the mind. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you send a signal to yourself, I can trust my word. And when you can trust your own word, confidence grows. Confidence is not built from big victories. It is built from small promises kept. Waking up on time when you said you would, studying when you don't feel like it, practicing your craft when no one is watching. These moments build an inner strength that cannot be shaken. Every disciplined action becomes a vote for the future self you are creating. People often think discipline is restrictive, but it is the opposite. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from the chaos of inconsistency. It frees you from the stress of procrastination. It frees you from the frustration of not seeing progress. When you build discipline, your life gains order and direction. You control your time instead of letting time control you. You master your habits instead of letting habits master you. You choose your actions instead of being driven by impulses or emotions. Discipline is also the great equalizer. Not everyone is born with the same talents, opportunities, or resources, but discipline is available to anyone willing to commit. It requires no privilege, no special background, no extraordinary skill. It only requires the willingness to show up. A disciplined person can surpass someone more talented but inconsistent. They can outperform someone smarter but unfocused. They can rise higher than someone with more advantages but less determination. Because discipline compounds, what begins with 10 minutes of daily effort becomes hours. What begins with one commitment becomes many. What begins with slow steps becomes unstoppable momentum, and discipline protects your goal. It guards your dream against the distractions of the modern world. We live in a time where attention is constantly pulled in every direction. Notifications, entertainment, endless choices. Without discipline, your dream gets lost in the noise. But with discipline, you create a shield around your focus. You decide what matters, and you refuse to be pulled away from it. You build routines that support your growth. You remove habits that weaken your progress. You create a lifestyle where your actions naturally align with your goals. Discipline also builds resilience. When you are disciplined, you learn to work through difficulty. You learn to stay steady when circumstances become uncomfortable. You learn to continue even when progress seems slow. Discipline teaches you that effort is not wasted, even when results are not immediately visible. It teaches you that growth is happening in the background, quietly, steadily, consistently. And this resilience becomes one of your greatest strengths. It prepares you for challenges. It prepares you for delays. It prepares you for the moments when life tests your commitment. There is also a deep sense of pride that comes from discipline. Not pride in the ego sense, but pride in the truth that you are living according to your values. You are honoring your potential. You are giving your dreams the respect they deserve. That kind of pride becomes fuel. It keeps you going on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. It reminds you that every day matters, every choice counts, every action builds something inside you. And perhaps the most powerful lesson discipline teaches is that success is within your control. You don't have to wait for inspiration. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. You don't have to wait for someone to guide you. Discipline gives you the power to shape your future with your own hands. It turns your goals into a plan, your plan into actions, and your actions into results. It turns wishful thinking into intentional living. It turns potential into achievement. Success is not something you chase. It is something you attract by the person you become. This idea is one of the most transformational principles Jim Rohn ever taught. Most people spend their lives running after success, running after wealth, running after opportunities, running after recognition. But the more they chase, the more success seems to move further away, as if it's always one step ahead. The reason is simple. Success responds to character, not pressure. It responds to growth, not desperation. It responds to the depth of who you become. When you work on yourself, success begins to notice. When you elevate your thinking, your habits, your discipline, your attitude, success begins to draw closer. It's not a chase anymore. It becomes a natural attraction. Becoming the person worthy of success means shaping your inner world so strongly that your outer world has no choice but to shift. It means developing qualities that carry weight, qualities that speak louder than words. Hard work, integrity, consistency, humility, kindness, patience. These are the traits that form the foundation of a life capable of holding great achievement. People sometimes want the results without developing the roots, but the roots are what make the results last. Without the right character, success becomes temporary. With the right character, success becomes inevitable. A person's habits create their future long before the future arrives. If you build the habits of a champion, reading, practicing, learning, thinking, improving, your life starts aligning with the results of a champion. If you build the habits of a leader, communicating clearly, solving problems, taking responsibility, staying calm under pressure, your life starts producing the outcomes of a leader. Habits are silent architects of destiny. They work in the background day after day, shaping who you are becoming, and who you are becoming creates the results you eventually attract. The same principle applies to mindset. When your thinking is small, your opportunities stay small. When your thinking is fearful, your decisions become hesitant. But when you develop a mindset that sees possibilities, solutions, opportunities, and growth, life responds by presenting more of them. Your mind is a magnet. Whatever you hold inside it, confidence or doubt, courage or fear, ambition or laziness, gets reflected in your environment. You cannot attract abundance with a scarcity mindset. You cannot attract success with a mindset focused on obstacles. You cannot attract growth if your thinking resists change. When you upgrade your mindset, you upgrade your life. People sometimes wonder why they face the same problems again and again. It's because success requires a certain level of maturity, and when you grow into that maturity, the problems that once defeated you lose their power. They don't disappear. You simply become stronger than them. Success doesn't demand perfection. It demands evolution. Every challenge is an invitation to become better. Every setback is a push to develop resilience. Every failure is a signal that more growth is required. And as you grow, success grows toward you. Another part of becoming worthy of success is raising your standards. A person with low standards cannot attract high results. If you tolerate laziness, excuses, or inconsistency from yourself, your results will reflect that. But when you raise your standards, when you expect more discipline, more excellence, more focus from yourself, your actions begin to rise, and as your actions rise, your results follow. Success always matches the standards you set for yourself. Raise the standard, raise the life. Your surroundings also shift when you work on yourself. The more you grow, the more you attract people who are also growing. The more you develop your character, the more you attract people of integrity. The more you commit to excellence, the more opportunities aligned with excellence appear. Growth attracts growth. Strength attracts strength. Excellence attracts excellence. You begin to form connections, relationships, and partnerships that elevate your journey instead of draining it. This is the power of attraction through transformation. One of the strongest signals you send to the world is your attitude. A positive, resilient, solution-focused attitude makes people want to work with you, trust you, and support your goals. A negative or complaining attitude pushes opportunities away. Attitude is invisible, but its effects are visible everywhere in your life. It influences how people perceive you, how they respond to you, how they open doors for you. A great attitude is like a light. It attracts attention, respect, and possibility. Another key part of becoming the kind of person success moves toward is your relationship with time. Successful people respect time. They value it, they prioritize it, they use it wisely. They understand that wasted time creates wasted potential. When you begin treating each hour as something precious, life begins rewarding you with progress. When you stop delaying important actions, success stops delaying its arrival. Time is the currency of achievement, and your relationship with it determines what you attract. Becoming worthy of success also means taking responsibility. Not blaming, not complaining, not waiting for circumstances to change. Responsibility is the birthplace of power. The moment you say, "My life is in my hands," everything begins to shift. You no longer feel helpless. You feel capable. You no longer feel stuck. You feel in control. Responsibility positions you as the creator of your future, not the victim of your conditions. And the final piece is consistency. Anyone can be disciplined for a day or motivated for a moment. But it is the person who stays consistent, day after day, month after month, who rises above the rest. Consistency builds mastery. Consistency builds reputation. Consistency builds achievement. And it is consistency that ultimately makes you irresistible to success. There comes a moment in every journey when the path behind you becomes quieter than the path ahead. A moment when you realize that everything you've learned, clarity, discipline, growth, character, has been preparing you for something bigger than a goal. It has been preparing you for a transformation. And as you stand at the edge of your next chapter, I want you to hear these words not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Because the truth is, you're not here by accident. You're here because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows you were made for more. Something inside you whispers, even in your hardest moments, you can rise, you can change, you can become. And now I want you to imagine yourself standing face to face with your future self. The stronger you, the wiser you, the more disciplined, more focused, more capable version of you. Imagine that version looking into your eyes and saying, "Keep going, don't stop here, don't slow down, you're closer than you think, you're stronger than you believe, and the life you dream about is waiting for you to step into it." That voice is not a fantasy. It's the echo of the person you are becoming. Achievement is not waiting for perfect conditions, it's waiting for your decision. And today can be the day you draw the line in the sand and say, enough. Enough waiting for the right moment. Enough letting fear decide. Enough letting doubt speak louder than my purpose. From today, I walk forward. Because greatness doesn't ask, "Are you ready?" Greatness asks, "Are you willing?" Willing to learn, willing to work, willing to rise, willing to take control, and if you can say yes, even a hesitant yes, then your future begins to move in your direction. I want you to feel the weight of your potential, not as pressure, but as a reminder that every step you've taken so far was training, every setback refined you, every delay matured you, every disappointment shaped you. You were not being punished, you were being prepared, and now it's time to step forward with intention. Say this to yourself, "I am capable, I am becoming, I am not done yet. I will become the person worthy of my dreams." Because your dreams are not random, they are assigned to you. They are connected to your gifts. They are connected to the person you are meant to be. And if they've stayed in your heart all this time, it's because they belong to you. But dreams demand something in return. They demand courage when fear shows up. They demand effort when excuses show up. They demand discipline when comfort calls your name. They demand honesty, responsibility, and a willingness to grow beyond who you were yesterday. And in that process, something magnificent happens. You begin to attract the kind of life that once felt impossible. You begin to attract opportunities that match your new level of thinking. You begin to attract people who see your fire instead of your flaws. You begin to attract success, not because you chased it, but because you became someone it naturally moves toward. Listen to these words as if they were spoken directly into your soul. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start. You don't need perfection. You just need progress. You don't need every answer. You just need the courage to take the next step. Because the next step is everything. That step leads to another and another and another, until one day you look back and say, "I built this, I created this life, I earned this future, I became this person." And maybe right now you're thinking, "But what if I fail?" Then hear this clearly. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the language success speaks. It is the blueprint, the training ground, the sharpening point. Every person who has achieved anything extraordinary has stood where you stand, unsure, afraid, uncertain, but moved anyway. They acted even with shaking hands. They continued even with trembling hearts, and that is what made them unstoppable. So let me speak directly to your determination. Do not underestimate yourself. Do not downgrade your dreams to match your comfort. Upgrade your discipline to match your destiny. Stand tall. Even if you stand trembling, move forward. Even if the ground feels unsteady, speak your goals out loud, even if your voice shakes, because courage is not loud. Courage is quiet. Courage is the whisper that says, try again. Courage is the breath you take before you rise. Courage is choosing progress over perfection. And as you walk this path, remind yourself daily, I am building a life I am proud of. I am becoming a person I admire. I am walking toward a future aligned with my purpose. So take a deep breath, straighten your shoulders, lift your head. The map of achievement is in your hands now. Clear vision, steady discipline, inner growth, and the power to attract the success you're becoming worthy of. Your future is not waiting for the perfect version of you. Your future is waiting for the committed version of you, and that version is ready to rise.